Perspective. It's a point of view, and we use it in history to describe historical events. Every person sees and understands events differently, depending on your age, gender, social position, beliefs, and values. Even modern historians have their own perspective, which can influence how they interpret the past. In our classroom, we are blessed with a multitude of perspectives, with each one of us coming from different backgrounds. Many of you are not Americans. Maybe you haven't even set foot in the United States. That's okay. Your experience is different than mine. And because you are not sitting in an American classroom surrounded by a bunch of other Americans like I did when I was in high school. No, you guys are more fortunate than I was because you bring your own interpretation and perspective to this class. And that will only enrich our learning. I'm going to show you some images, and I want you to write down the first thing you see. Alright, some of you probably noticed that there are dual images. Here is the same images again. Now see if you can see the image you did not immediately see at first. Please be aware, different perspectives doesn't necessarily mean that one side is honest and the other is lying. It simply means that there is different points of view. Let's take a look at an example from history. This is the Boston Massacre, when British soldiers fired upon unarmed colonists in Boston, Massachusetts. This is an event that would lead to the American Revolution and eventually American independence. There was two extremely different perspectives on who was at fault for the massacre. Let's take a look at this first picture. This is a British engraving. So what do we notice what's happening? You see on the right the British soldiers and that they're firing into the colonists. But what do you notice about the colonists? They seem to be fighting back. So the interpretation is the British soldiers are simply defending themselves. Now, this next picture, this was drawn by Sam Adams, one of the Sons of Liberty. He was a colonist, and he did not like the British. So looking at this picture, we notice different things, but it's the same event. On the right, you see the British soldiers firing into the crowd, and on the left, you see the colonists and the 5 that lie dead. But you don't see any colonists that seem to be fighting back. No, they seem unarmed. It's more tragic. So it makes the viewer think differently about the event. So what is correct? Simply, they're both correct. History is simply about interpretation. There are two sides to a historical story, and it's up to us to figure out what the truth is. I'll see you next time.